Shalom. All praises to the Most High Yah and His wonderful Son Yahushua. Yah being God in Paleo-Hebrew and Yahushua being Christ in Paleo-Hebrew. And this is the Nicholas family. Today we're going to get into the Hebrew Israelite Brown family. All the swarthy melanated brothers and sisters here in America, Caribbean islands, and Europe with the surname Brown, as well as those scattered abroad like Africa, Canada, and Australia. Before the narrative that y'all was slaves here in America and the Caribbean islands, you guys was royalty in Europe. You guys was royalty in England, Ireland, and Scotland. To remind y'all, England, Ireland, and Scotland was once ruled by our last Negro king, King Charles and the Stuarts.
History is a lie. From the book, When Scotland Was Jewish, quote, "The Scottish royal Stuarts were equally dark and Semitic in appearance. Of Charles II's dusky appearance, his mother, Queen Henrietta Maria, had been half mortified, writing after her confinement that the child was so dark she was ashamed of him. He was quickly dubbed the Black Boy."
To remind y'all, we ruled the Dark Ages of Europe for 1,000 years, from 500 AD to 1500 AD. That was prophecy fulfilled in Revelations 20:6. Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests of Yahweh and of Yahushua, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So from 500 AD to 1500 AD, we ruled with Christ and Yahweh as priests. Brothers such as Paulinus of York from the Byzantine Empire and the Hebrew missionaries of Ireland who bidded the brothers to the marriage. In the 1100 AD, our family situated our surnames like Brown with the help of the Norman barons.
Who were the Normans in 1066? On to the next slide, please. And here are the Normans. Have they ever told you they were black?
Oh, stop it now. You know I ain't got no hair to fall out.
Look, I have 1,000 of these images. Lewis, Gaspard, Henri, Joseph, Maurice. These are the Normans.
Verified the Normans were black. Let's verify that the Normans situated our surnames. Did the Normans introduce surnames? Following the invasion and subsequent occupation of the Normans in England in 1066, hereditary surnames were to be introduced by Norman barons. So now let's see what a surname verifies. Where does a surname originate from? Does a surname mean anything? A last name, also known as a family name or surname, is typically passed down from one generation to the next. Surnames can provide insight to a person's ancestry, cultural background, or geographic origins. We verified the Normans were black. We verified they situated the surname system. And we verified having our surname shows us where our families originated from. In 1492, with the fall of the Eastern Byzantine Empire, which was ran by Negroes, and the rise of the Western Roman Empire, which was ran by YT Edomites, Revelations 20:7 happened. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. So in the 1500s, the Western Roman Empire rose. In that same season, King James Stewart got into power. And the Jesuits in the Roman Catholic Church tried to assassinate King James in the gunpowder plot. And Revelations 20:8 happened. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. So they deceived the nations, chiefly us. Made us believe our Christ was YT, our saints was YT, and our forefathers was YT, the ones we bear the surnames of. And to remind you, the Brown family did not get caught in slavery in Africa. The Brown family got caught in slavery and indentured servitude in Europe by a guy named Oliver Cromwell. Out of the book Jacobite Gleaning from State Manuscripts, Short Sketches of Jacobite the Transportation in 1745 by J. Macbeth Forbes, we find that Joseph Brown, age 20, profession tailor, statue 5'7", remarks, dark complexion, well made. This is your history before slavery and indentured servitude. The Brown family, the Hebrews from England, Ireland, and Scotland before indigent servitude and slavery. What does the name Brown mean? The Brown family name is thought to be of Norman origins. It comes from an early member of the family who was a person with brown hair or brown eyes or dressed habitually in brown or had brown skin. The name sprang from similar roots in Old English, Old Norse, Old French. It is also possible that a given instance of the name is derived from a short form of the Old English personal names such as Brunwine or Brunger. Early origins of the Brown family. The surname Brown was first found in Cumberland, when the Brown family held a family seat and claimed descent from Lee Brun in Normandy, who was granted many estates there soon after the conquest. However, many of the family remained in Normandy, where Gilbert and William Lee Brun were listed in 1185, according to the Magni Rotuli Sakari nominee. This ancient and wide-spreading name, which occurs in early writing, is a great variety of the forms as Lee Brun, D. Brun, or Brun. We're going to cut down. It stands 50th on the battle rolls and has the particular distinction of having produced 21 different families in the United Kingdom who have received from the sovereignty hereditary titles of nobility. As Lee Brun of Brunners is frequently occurs in the former Esquire rolls of the 12th century and is several times written in Domesday Book. William Lee Brun held in Suffolk and Brunel, perhaps the same in Warwickshire, besides Brun, Prepster, and Oxfordshire. Of these, the most considerable, that of the Viscount Montagu, was an offset of the great Norman house of Lafferty, who held the barony of Lafferty, near Effort. Hugh de la Ferté is mentioned by Wace of Hastings. Richard de la Ferté accompanied Robert of Normandy to Palestine in 1096, and his youngest son Gamel, surnamed Lee Brun, according to family tradition, to distinguish him from a brother called Lee Blanc, settled in Cumberland, where he had baronial grants from Weldell Fitzgospatrick, and his descents long flourished, the name gradually changing to Brun, or Brown. Some of the family were found at early times at Tullochniston in Norfolk, where they held estates. A hall, a fine brick mansion, is a good specimen of the domestic style prevalent in the 17th century. It is said to have been built in 1670 by the Brown family who held the estate. Another branch was found in the parish of Thurby, again in Norfolk. The principal part of Thurby belongs to Thomas Brown, Esquire, who resides at the Hall, a neat mansion of white brick. The 100 Rum rolls of 1273 alludes to the use of the name in varieties of early spelling and as a forename and surname. Up north in Scotland, the family are generally thought to have migrated there from Cumberland. Gamel's son of Brun came into possession of Bothell, now Booty, in the time of Henry I, 1100 to 1135. Gilchrist, son of Brun, witnessed the charter by R, son of Donegal, to the hospital of St. Peter of York, circa 1136. Patrick Brun witnessed resignation of land of Werebrohumby and Annet between 1194 to 1214. Richard Carter's Brun witnessed a charter by Ibradus de Pincatterlet to the Church of St. Cuthbert of Durham in the reign of William the Lion. Several individuals of this name are recorded in the 13th century, but what connection, if any, exists that between them is not known. To remind the Brown family, your history was not erased. It was stolen and then whitewashed. You have family in America, the Caribbean island, Europe, and scattered abroad. It's about time that y'all come together as one family. Remember y'all Hebrew Israelites, keep the commandments, and get your blessing. This is the House of Nicholas. I hope y'all was edified. Shalom.